Welcome back on the show. It is time to talk some basketball chatter with our next guest, and it's going to be Joanna Chadwick with Vype Magazine and instructor as well for Derby High School. Hey, Joanna, appreciate you coming on the show and sharing with us some Wichita knowledge.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
So kind of run through your background, a longtime sports writer, I know, throughout the state of Kansas and with the Eagle there, and kind of explain what you're doing now for the last decade now.
Yeah, I worked at the Wichita Eagle coming out of college. So I graduated from Mizzou and then went to the Wichita Eagle in 1996, and I was there for 20 years. And basically I started thinking about, if I stay here at the Eagle, my own kids are going to go to high school and play sports, and I'll never get to watch them play. So that was just more than I could handle. Already my husband was he had been a long-time assistant at Heights, both boys and girls, and was there for the 4 straight boys state titles. I never got to cover those teams. So it was just too much for me to imagine not watching my kids play. And so in 2016, I resigned and started as the journalism advisor at Derby High School, and been watching my sons ever since. And teaching is just it is definitely, I feel very fortunate, as I tell my students, that I had a great career at the Wichita Eagle. I loved what I did, and then now I get to teach, which I also really enjoy.
How did you get involved with Vype Magazine?
So as soon as I resigned, Mike Cooper reached out right then, and it wasn't long after where he's like, hey, can we get you writing for us? And so I did quite a bit of writing for Vype, and it's been it's been pretty consistent over the last 10 years. And then over the last few years, I've been focusing on the website. It's just more comfortable for me to work for the website. It's kind of, I can plan things out a little bit more that work in my time. But interestingly enough, my 2 oldest sons, Blake and Cooper, they both write for Vype Magazine as well.
Nice.
So, yes.
All right, well, let's start with some coverage of a team that you're right there in right now at Derby High School. You talk about those basketball teams. It's been fun watching them, year after year. What's the story this year? How do they look? Well,
of course, the girls team is coached by my husband, Brian, and they are just so much fun to watch. They open the season in pretty tough schedule, and they finished second last year to Blue Valley North in Class 6A. And they took an opening loss to Andover. They did get that win back later. I can't remember now. I think it was early January. Where has this season gone? How is it already in the end of January? But in just some really excellent games, and Andover's just a quality team as well. And it's been really fun, though. Michaela Askew is one of the top players in the state. She's going to go to Elon and play basketball. And she is just super versatile, can score, she rebounds so well. And the number of steals that she gets is really pretty impressive. And then Asia Fox as well. But it's a team that has a lot of depth, and just they have different players who can step up at different times.
We had Nate Schmitz on the show, head coach of Wichita Collegiate, and he was talking about his press. Like, how impressive is you just watching Collegiate, especially for a guy, in his first season?
Well, I mean, he knows that he stepped into a good situation. When you have a trio like Sebastian Hines-Turner, Junior Kamari Jennings, and AJ Batiste, that is an impressive group. They can score at will. I think that what they have done this season is impressive. They're putting up really big numbers. I mean, even just on Tuesday night, the 27th, Kamari Jennings with 33 points, wow, and Sebastian Hines-Turner with 30. And I really want to see the matchup that got postponed because of the weather, but I really want to see the matchup with Capon. I don't think they'll have a date yet for when that's going to happen, but they were supposed to have met in that El Dorado championship game.
You imagine a Steve Eck and, going up against that press?
Well, and that Capon team is outstanding. I watched them play Andover as part of that ABCTL versus City League match or challenge, and they played without Blaze Dalian, and they were impressive. And Blaze Dalian is a phenomenal player as well. So, and their depth is crazy. And that's one of the things, too, that when we talk about teams is just the depth, is that Collegiate has depth as well, and they've been able to develop that more. They go farther than their 3. And that's the thing with the Derby boys, too, is that their 2 top players are clearly Avant Riley and Cale Klingon, who just committed to Drury. But their depth beyond that is you could have another guy who comes up with 20 points, 10 rebounds type of a night. And I think that that's what we're seeing in the area. Andover's got depth. And Heights has depth, is that you've got different people who are able to step up. So it's been a lot of fun to watch basketball this season.
I'll say. Wichita Heights, what can you tell us about their clubs?
Well, the girls team has a new coaching staff. Kip Pulliam was there for a long time, left, and then came back. And they're coached by Jennifer Pillage. It's actually the first female head coach since like 1974 or something like that, which I was absolutely shocked by. And they're fun to watch as well. And they're very fast. They've got some really good guards. And then as for the boys team, Tyson Phillips has really been, I believe it's Tyson Phillips, Tony Phillips.
Yep.
Tony, he's really been stepping up, and that's been a lot of fun to watch too. I covered his dad back in the day, and that was really cool to figure that out. But he's been getting some D1 offers too in football. He had a big night the other night, hit a game winner in another game. But Jalen Timmons and Jordan Timmons are also really good players.
You talk about, the City League and even the AVCTL. I mean, just how good it is year in and year out. I mean, do you feel like it's as good, if not better, than it has been in years past at this current moment?
That is such a difficult thing to say because, when you think about the City League and, trust me, I worked with Bob Lutz, if you know who, he was at the Wichita Eagle for ever and ever and ever. And to hear him talk about those 1970s teams, you think about the 77 Heights team, you think about Ricky Ross. There's just so many players who've come through. And then in the time since I've covered, with Perry Ellis and Connor Frankamp, but then there were also, the days of Taj Gray. There's so many players that have come through. We've been so blessed to watch just a ridiculous number of talented athletes. And, I think it's different now. I think that you see Wichita kids heading out to the suburbs to play. City League was a lot of the time it was juniors and seniors really stepping up. And so kids are like, well, I want to play when I'm a freshman. And so they head out. And I get that. But at the same time, I look at my own son who has, he hasn't had that chance until his senior year here, and now he's a starter. And so I get why people leave, but I often think that people are constantly chasing a better situation. And I think that it is amazing what you can do when you stick it out and you battle through, and it can really make a difference.
Hey, Joanna, appreciate your time and the insights, and we'll catch up soon.
All right. Hey, thanks a lot.
That's Joanna Chadwick with Vype Magazine joining us for Basketball Chatter.